It's time that we continue our medical chat this Tuesday, which takes a bit of a different shape right now as we're talking about breaking bad habits, but we're talking about different kinds of bad habits, not only those that are related to our physical health or our mental health.
Well, that's the thing. We've been talking about cigarettes and things. We've got a very interesting question coming through from Mrs. Phillips from Glen Vista. I'm going to ask you about this one. Obviously, we don't have a huge amount of context, but she says that she constantly chews. So she has got this habit that she's chewing all the time. What could this be, do you think?
A lot of people chew while they're sleeping or bite on their rear teeth.
I mean,
it's often when you're highly strung or wound up, there's a bit of a, increased muscle tone and you grind your teeth, for example. This is while she's awake, I assume.
Yeah.
And it's called an automatism. And people have different habitual things physically. Some people, for example, tap their feet.
Yes.
I think she should see it like that. Some people tap their feet to expel extra energy, sometimes as a form of thinking, sometimes as a form of distraction even. So, obviously she might be chewing even when there's nothing in her mouth, and that can make it difficult.
If that's affecting your teeth, then it's a problem, but beyond that, just irritating to other people.
Yeah, and often you learn to hide some of those habitual habits,
So how then do you kick something like that, Mariska? How do you go about getting rid of that kind of habit? Because it is something that you do without thinking, right?
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, think about that one for a second. How do you do that?
Small wins. I think it's, first of all, realize whether or not it is causing a problem in your life. If it is really distracting, you may want to see a healthcare professional to assist in identifying what is causing this habitual habit that you have developed. Is it maybe anxiety? Is it due to a form of relieving stress for yourself? So is there maybe a need to find a different way of relieving the stress or symptoms of anxiety? And that's maybe your first step to try to find out what the cause of this chewing is in the first place.
And now we've got Dina on the line from Durban. A very good morning, Dina.
Very good morning to you. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you this morning?
Great. I'm well, thank you.
Your question or your comment for our panel?
Yes, no, what I want to say is I've been diagnosed with a condition called epilepsy some 20 years ago. Okay. And I've been going to various specialists. And they've been putting me on all types of medication, like Epilim, Lamitril, Keppra, and things like that, which I've been taking ever since, morning and evening. And they always said to me, stay away from the 4 C's, meaning cigarettes, caffeine, coke, and cheese. But up until now, I have those things, and I seem to be fine. But what I want to know is this mind over matter? I'm taking the medication constantly, and if I get this illness, it's like maybe once or twice a month. So am I taking the medication because it's a mindset, or am I supposed to take the medication all the time?
Wow,
thanks.
Dr.
Good
Green,
question.
that's
a very important question.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's about the condition called epilepsy. So he's been diagnosed with epilepsy, as far as I could hear, and he's been treated for almost 20 years on 3 different drugs, which already tells me his epilepsy was difficult to control. Along with that, obviously, the C's that he recommended on are very good, because when you're treating epilepsy, it can be a debilitating neurological condition that prevents you from holding down a job, can prevent you from driving for years on end, and having 1 or 2 seizures a month also still isn't controlled. He mentions he's still getting 1 or 2 seizures a month, which means that he can't stop medication or withdraw medication. So I don't advise that at this stage.
Will the body build up a resistance to the medication? Do you get used to it?
With epilepsy specifically, depending on which subtype of epilepsy is, whether it's generalized or complex partial seizures, for example, there's normally a focus, in other words, a part of the brain where the abnormal signal conduction originates. And sometimes the medication can dampen that or control that emitting of that erratic signal. Sometimes in difficult cases, you even need surgery to remove that area of the brain. It just depends on his quality of life, whether he's functioning and happy the way he is right now. And certainly it's a condition that you only get weaned off treatment in a very structured manner once you've had no seizures. Yeah. We wouldn't wean you off treatment if you're still getting breakthrough seizures as such.
So, Dina, stay on the tabs.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for that call, and thank you so much to Dr. Darren Green and to Mariska van Asbegen for chatting to us on this Tuesday in our medical chat. But with only but a few minutes left of the show, shall we get into the kitchen?
Let's do it. Something smells good.
Come on.